This is Scott Borchetta. Chances are you have no idea who this man is. He's someone who made a mistake who would later change the entire music industry forever. He was someone who loved music. He played in rock bands and eventually moved to Nashville to start his own record label, calling it Big Machine Label Group. One day he decided to hit downtown Nashville in search for his first client. Who is going to be Big Machine Label Group's first superstar? As he entered Bluebird Cafe in 2005, he noticed a 14-year-old girl with an acoustic guitar. She could sing and songwrite and had this ability to carry a crowd. Scott witnessed pure talent. This girl, who goes by the name Taylor Swift, soon became the first client of his record label, signing a 13-year-long contract. And in that time, Taylor would produce 6 extremely lucrative studio albums, end up winning multiple Grammys, and establish herself as one of the most successful musical artists of the decade. Every expectation Scott had of her was crushed, and she eventually made up to 80% of Big Machine Label Group's total revenue. However, 2018 soon arrived, and that 13-year-long contract came to an end. Would Taylor re-sign? Scott asked to himself. Dear Scott, as you know, our contract is coming to an end. It's been a great 13 years, and we're happy with the way our relationship has gone. Just one problem. The only way I will re-sign with BMLG is if I can buy back my masters. Can you make this happen? Sincerely, Taylor Swift. What Scott said next seemed simple and harmless in his eyes, but little did he know that it would change the way artists see labels, how contracts are inked, and catalyze a systemic change in today's music industry.
She came in and she was adorable and she was smart. I'm leaving in September to start my own label, and the only promise I can make you tonight is that if you wait, you have a record deal with me.
Okay, so if you're like me, you've known about Taylor Swift for like a decade, but in the last year, doesn't it feel like she's quadrupled in her fame? I'm not afraid to say that I think she's the most famous person on the planet right now. But something that I've briefly learned is that she's not just famous because of her incredible music, but also she's this business mogul behind the scenes. Things I'll get to in just a bit. But to fully immerse myself, I decided to buy tickets to what ended up being the last Eras Tour AMC show in New York City. Yeah, I had to. Business expense, you know? I couldn't just go by myself, so I decided to surprise my friends Colt, Sherman, and Omar, the biggest Swifties in the world, with tickets. Guys, taking the content clouds out on a little outing today.
I'm scared.
Restaurant.
I think all of you are gonna be very excited.
Sarcasm.
Uh-oh.
At 7:15 p.m. tonight, we have 5 tickets to the Eras Tour AMC movie. Oh yeah, let's go.
I went to the Eras Tour, it was pretty good.
Let's go! You excited, Sherman?
Fucking stoked.
Do you know who this is?
Yeah, Taylor Swift. She's our mom.
Mother is mothering.
Mother, yeah.
Mother is mothering.
So on a scale of 1 to Swiftie, how much are you a fan of Taylor Swift?
Let's say like 5.3. You know, I know the classics, but then I also know some like sneakers, like The One. You know, Cruel Summer. I mean, Cruel Summer just went #1. I know these things.
I know she lives in the West Village.
Probably like a 6.
Okay, that's a bit higher than I thought.
She's a businesswoman. I respect her.
And are you excited to go to the Eras Tour in AMC theaters? Are you excited to go to the Eras Tour in AMC theaters? And are you excited to go to the Eras Tour in AMC theaters? Let's talk about record labels. Like, what are they? It's something I feel like I've heard all my life, but never really understood what they actually do. This right here is actually Taylor Swift's current record label, Republic Records, which is owned by Universal Music Group. The record labels that we know today started in the mid-20th century, with major ones like Columbia, RCA, and Capitol Records that dominated the industry. These labels had significant financial resources and played a huge role in promoting and marketing artists. In short, it's very similar to how venture capital firms work, or podcast networks, or any sort of these businesses that help small creative projects grow. They give you resources and cash in exchange for ownership. It's easier to think about record labels way before our current technology exists, way before social media or anything. So if you were a random band back in the day, it was near impossible to get on the radio and find gigs and basically promote yourself independently. You needed record labels. Labels were the access. They were the gatekeepers. And because they had so much power, they made artists sign their recording rights, aka ownership, in perpetuity. Yeah, that means forever. Record labels have since adapted to changing technology. For example, streaming exists now, social media algorithms. It's never been easier to grow as an independent artist. That leverage or power that they've historically had is diminishing, but that rule to sign your ownership away in perpetuity has never changed. All right, guys, I have a couple trivia questions about Taylor Swift and a bit not about Taylor Swift. There's a prize after every question. So on the piece of paper in front of you, I need you to please define the word copyright as how Google says it is. The closest person will get a prize. All right, y'all feel confident?
Yeah, 100%.
Copyright, noun. A legal form of protection over the reuse and distribution of an asset.
All right, Omar?
Scooter Braun is a thief, and I will never forgive him.
All right, Sherman?
The world's #1 clothing brand, founded by and created by Elliot Choi.
Shout out Elliot. But, okay, Colt, you are the winner
Let's go!
of the first prize,
It's a Starburst.
a friendship bracelet.
Oh, let's go, Midnights.
Damn, I want one.
Copyright is the legal right that gives the owner of intellectual property the exclusive right to copy, distribute, adapt, display, and perform a creative work.
Scooter Braun is a thief.
But I knew you playing hide and seek and giving me your weekends. And I knew you, your heartbeat on the High Line. Let's go. So it's 2018, and the contract between BMLG and Taylor Swift is about to expire. And Taylor expresses that she wants to buy back all her masters. But Scott Borchetta says only if she re-signs with them and they get to keep all of her future masters. But first, we keep throwing around this term masters. What does that even mean? In music, there are 2 copyrights for a given song. Let's take Love Story by Taylor Swift. There's a copyright on the song or the musical composition, and then another copyright on the master of the song. They're very close, but not the same thing. So the way I think about it is the first copyright is on the creative aspect, while the second one is on the business aspect. So because Taylor wrote her own songs, that means she's the owner of the copyright on that song's craft, the lyrics, the instrumental, etc. I can't just copy the chorus of Love Story verbatim without permission, put it in my song, and sell it commercially. That's the musical composition copyright. The master copyright is the IP on the actual full recording. Basically, whoever owns this controls where the song is distributed, whether that's online, at a concert, in a movie, anywhere. Remember, the simple reason to why artists sign to record labels is to get that cash advance or those resources in exchange for ownership. These masters act as that ownership. So in 2018, when it was time to renegotiate, Scott basically gave her this ultimatum. You can have all of your old masters back and do whatever you want with them, but we get to keep all of your new masters you make for the next decade. And Taylor didn't think this was fair, but before she could even respond, this headline came out to the world. In June 2019, Big Machine label group sold to Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings for $330 million. Taylor's masters were now in the hands of a man named Scooter Braun. And long story short, he did not have a great history with her. Some fun facts about today's news. I learned about Scooter Braun's purchase of my masters as it was announced to the world. All I could think about was the incessant, manipulative bullying I've received at his hands for years. I mean, imagine working over a decade on 6 albums that you cherish, you love, and are incredibly successful, only for them to sell for hundreds of millions of dollars. You have no control over what you could do with them, where these are played, and they're in the hands of someone else. Here are the papers in front of you, take a look. The following are lyrics of Taylor Swift in front of you. I'm gonna read them out loud, and your job is to fill in the last part of it. And maybe we got lost in translation. Maybe I asked for too much.
You should sing it.
But maybe this thing was a masterpiece till you tore it all up. Running scared, I was there. I remember it. Feeling confident?
2%.
2% confident. Omar?
I'm feeling pretty good, but I have something to
He's
say.
adding a new line to the lyrics.
Colt?
I'm going off some context clues.
Everyone, show them. And say it out loud in 3, 2, 1.
Shake
Scooter
it off.
Braun.
All too well.
I remember it, Scooter Braun. Okay.
Scooter Braun is a thief, but the lyric is all too well.
Oh, shake it up. Shake it up.
Was that right?
You're correct.
I knew it.
Nice.
What a under. I think you went
Oh, that
number
was
one.
a cool one. That was a cool one.
Is this the 8-minute song?
This is the, it's a 10-minute version.
10-minute version, man. Shout out to
All
Taylor
right.
doing her Taylor's version.
Okay. Cornelia, Cornelia, Cornelia. 23 Cornelia. I think that's it. We were in the back seat, drunk on something stronger than the drinks in the bar. I rent a place on Cornelia Street. I say casually in the car. That's a place, apparently, according to Taylor Swift TikTok. So in 2019, Taylor Swift releases this note on Twitter. Guys, it's been announced recently that the American Music Awards will be honoring me with the Artist of the Decade Award at this year's ceremony. I've been planning to perform a medley of my hits throughout the decade on the show. Scott Borchetta and Scooter Braun have now said I'm not allowed to perform my old songs on television because they claim that would be considered re-recording my music before I'm allowed to next year. Additionally, and this isn't the way I planned on telling you this news, Netflix has created a documentary about my life over the past few years. Scott and Scooter have declined the use of my older music or performance footage for this project. Scott Borchetta told my team that they'll allow me to use my music only if I do these things. Agreed to not re-record copycat versions of my songs, which is something I'm both legally allowed and looking forward to do. And also, I need to stop talking about him and Scooter Braun. I just want to be able to perform my own music. That's it. Right now, my performance at the AMAs, the Netflix documentary, and any other recorded event I'm planning to play until November of 2022 are a question mark. In one perspective, it's wild to think that Taylor can't perform the very own songs she created. But some argue that this is the price of being with a record label. She wouldn't be where she is today. The opportunities of the AMAs or Netflix wouldn't have come without that record label. But regardless, one thing is for certain. The worst has yet to come for Taylor. All right, next one.
Bro, it's like a class, man. We got a quiz.
Yeah, it feels that way.
Romeo,
Oh, I know this song.
Romeo, take me somewhere where we
I
can
know
be
it.
alone.
I know it. If you don't know it, you should go home.
I'll be waiting. All there's left is to do is run. You'll be the prince, and I'll be the princess. It's a love story. All right. Confidence levels?
100%. This is the song I sang in the shower.
Shervin, how do you feel?
I feel 3% confident.
Shervin, we'll start with you.
It's a love story. Marry me, Kelsey.
That was good.
That was a good one. All right, Colt, let's see yours.
Baby, just say yes.
Baby, just say yes. But I added Scooter Braun is a thief. Extra point. Any Swiftie would know that part too.
I'm doing good. I'm on some new shit. Been saying yes instead of no. I thought I saw you at the bus stop. I didn't though. So from 2019 to 2020, Taylor tried everything to regain ownership of her masters because it was her life's work. It was a decade of art and poetry that made her career. But to Scott and Scooter, these masters were just another asset on the balance sheet. And just like a moth to a flame, if a businessman sees an opportunity to make a profit. Scooter sells her masters to a private equity firm named Shamrock Holdings, and Taylor notices that in the fine print, he's still going to be able to make a profit on her musical catalog for many years to come. Taylor wanted to partner with Shamrock at one point as a way to regain control of these masters, but as soon as she noticed that Scooter would still be involved, she cut the deal right there. It's said that Braun and Ithaca Holdings have made $265 million just by buying and selling Taylor's masters. But luckily, there's some good news. Taylor in this letter decides to pull a card out of her arsenal and finally go on the offensive. I feel the need to be very transparent with you. I will be going forward with my original re-recording schedule and will be embarking on that effort soon. I know this will diminish the value of my old masters, but I hope you will understand that this is my only way of regaining the sense of pride I once had when hearing songs from my first 6 albums. And also allowing my fans to listen to those albums without feeling of guilt of benefiting Scooter.
All right, last question. I need you all to define to me what Taylor's version is, to the best of your abilities. Shervin, we'll start with you. Please show it to the camera and read it. When mother's music was stolen. I can't even read that. You read that.
When mother's music was stolen from her, she got help from Kelly Clarkson.
He stole from me. That was my. Let me read my answer. That's not that funny. He stole from me, and I know this information. When mother's music was stolen from her, she got help from Kelly Clarkson. She records her old songs back, and now she owns them.
That's what I wrote.
I wonder how.
All right, here, let's hear it, Cole. I said the director's cut of her album Speak Something.
Speak now, you idiot.
Since both of your answers were very similar, but Shervin went first, we're gonna give Shervin the point.
What is this shit, man?
Shervin,
You get a 0 for stealing.
you got it
Call me
first.
Scooter Braun. What was the other guy's name?
He's Scooter Braun. That's what I'm right. This is 100% what happened to Scooter. I'm Taylor, you're Scooter Braun. Steve. I can't wait to re-record this test.
Omar's version.
Well, this is a bookstore that is unfortunately covered up by a truck and scaffolding, but apparently is the final location in the All Too Well short film. It's the effort that counts, I guess. So even though Taylor still does not own the 6 original masters, she's already re-recorded 4 of them. And we know today those are incredible successes. Most of them are actually even outperforming the initial listen rates of their previous versions. But the most interesting thing is actually Scooter's response to all of this. So according to a report by the Financial Times, Braun believed that Swift was just bluffing about re-recording. And when he tried to sell the masters, he told potential investors that she wouldn't actually re-record these albums, that everything she's saying is an empty threat. But on December 10th, 2021, the New York Times published that investors encouraged Scooter Braun to reach a ceasefire with Taylor Swift. Whatever this looks like, if it was a joint venture partnership or just become friends with her again. These investors were unhappy to be dragged in the dispute in such a public way. So what about Scott Borchetta, the guy that found her in a Nashville cafe all those years ago? What happened to him? Taylor Swift was the artist of the decade, and when most people are presented with the ultimatum of bet on their past successes or their future uncertainties, most people will bet on their past. That's the safest option. But Scott's biggest mistake, even after 13 years of getting to know Taylor, was assuming that she was just like the rest. I mean, little did he know that she would become even more successful, basically innovate musical copyright law, and have her tears ricocheted onto him.
Very funny though.
All right, guys, well, there's only one thing left to do. I said go to the concert!
To say that Taylor Swift is the Michael Jordan of the music industry is not far off. Jordan revolutionized athlete endorsements by receiving a percentage of the sales of the product he made. But today, this is the norm.
Karma is a breeze, karma's the hair in the sunset.
And in a similar world, Taylor brought attention to artists' rights and ownership to the music industry. It stated that Olivia Rodrigo negotiated with her record label to own masters. Joe Jonas wants to re-record his back catalog alongside Bryan Adams, Snoop Dogg, Ashanti, and more.
All right, guys. DMC, y'all excited? Woo! Yeah!
I love Transformers. I mean, erastour.
And we haven't even mentioned this AMC deal yet. Because Taylor now owns her masters, she can do things like work on distribution deals herself.
1 to 10.
Bro, you're the loudest kid in here. Oh, look at my view. Yo, check out my view, check out my view.
We are gonna make
They recline too far, bro.
And instead of involving a traditional Hollywood studio, she went directly to AMC, saving both the theater and herself percentage points. Taylor Swift opened musicians to the idea of ownership and the power that has. Don't believe me? Just Google her net worth. Dear Scott, I had no choice whether to bet on my past or to bet on the future. And I think, knowing me, you can guess which one I chose. Sincerely, Taylor Swift.
Maybe you can use it for your project.
Yes, please. The business behind Taylor Swift. Because she's a billionaire now. Do you know that?
I know that. I just right now, all the young kids, they follow her.
They come here?
We have a lot of, you'd be surprised how many young women, they come here, they take pictures.
They take pictures? Oh my goodness. I mean, that's a great spot. Do you know the line? The part of the song, of course?
The one.
The one, that's it. You know.
I know because all the young people come.
They come here and tell you. Yeah.